Hello and welcome to episode 260 of our SAP on Azure video podcast. Today is September 25th, and together with Goran, we're here to talk about anything related to SAP and Microsoft. Hello, everyone.
Hey.
So last week, I had the pleasure to attend the DSAG Annual Congress in Bremen. DSAG is the German-speaking SAP user group, and the annual event is the biggest and probably the most relevant event for the German-speaking community in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. This year was the first time that I didn't present anything myself. I had the honor of hosting our SAP with Azure track with great customer presentations. I attended many amazing customer sessions, and I was able again to connect with lots of peers from SAP, partners, and customers during the event. So today, we want to recap the event, and it is really great that we have Jens Hungershausen, member of the board at DSAG, with us. Welcome, Jens, to our podcast. Before we get started, before we go into the topic, maybe you can quickly introduce yourself. And what do you do at DSAG, and maybe also what do you do outside of DSAG?
Sure. Thanks, Holger, for having me. Hello, Goran. Hello, Holger. I'm Jens, and I'm the chairman of the board at the German-speaking SAP user group. I was elected 5 years ago in this role, and in my parallel life, I'm the CIO at a wholesale distribution company in Hamburg. We are an SAP customer since 1997, we went live in 1997. And we already did the transformation to S4. So a lot of topics we are discussing inside DSAG I've lived through, and that's about me.
No, that's great, actually. And I didn't know that you're such a long SAP customer. I mean, last week, or was it the week before, Goran? We had Fred Huet from Microsoft IT. And he also talked about our journey, and we also started with ECC and all the evolution. So we have also done a lot of migrations in the meantime. So it's great to hear. I didn't know that you had done that you also have this very rich history with SAP.
Yeah, we did, and maybe congratulate to your podcast series. We just talked about it. It's 5 years, and it's I think it's one of the most relevant podcasts we have in this space. So congratulations to Holger and Goran for every time having really good people on your podcast. So it's a real pleasure that I'm able to do here today.
Thank you so much, Jens. Thank you. Honestly, I mean, for me, even before I joined Microsoft, when I was still at SAP, the DSAG events were something that were really, really important to me. So this was really something where I was always looking forward to work with the community. And this year, I have to say, the annual Congress was really, really, really good for me. It was one of the best Congress that I had from my perspective. But it would be interesting. So this is all still fresh in your mind. What was your overall impression of the Congress? Are you happy? Are there things that stood out? What's your overall impression?
Yeah, first, thanks for saying that this was one of your best congresses you ever attended. I think we did a good job this year. From the participants' perspective, we finally had over 5,400 people on site in Bremen. So I think we are the most relevant community event we have in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. I even talked to Thomas Sauer-Essig about it. We might even be the biggest IT event for the customers in Germany. So I think if we look at it, we did a good thing on the keynote side. There was my keynote. I got a lot of praise for that, and in combination with the panel discussion we had with our other board members, I think we really touched the relevant topics which are in the community right now. The highlight for me always are the customer keynotes. So we had Evonik on stage, who made really transparent how they made their decision for their future roadmap, even going to a public cloud. And also we had Geberit there, who were on a more technical level, telling the community how they decided to go on their way. So I think that's a real good thing, that we are able to get customers to go on stage and just promote their projects publicly. The other thing are the all different tracks, where we have a lot of presentations. You mentioned your track, you chaired this year, and there are always customers. There's SAP, there are partners who are telling the community about the new technological developments, how-tos, roadmaps. So we got really good feedback on the overall program we had during the 3 days at Bremen.
Perfect. And I think, as you said, it's this balance, sessions from you basically, from the DSAG, a lot of customer sessions, a lot of customer keynotes that were very impactful. As you mentioned, I really liked the Evonik one, the Geberit one. They provided really good insights. And then also when I attended some of the sessions, it was really great to hear from other SAP customers their experience, what went well, what didn't went well. So I think and this is the beauty of this DSAG event, that everyone is coming together. Now the motto, the slogan was the art of balance, that you choose for this event this year. What are some of the things that DSAG is proposing for their customers to help them to maintain this balance between the stability of the landscape, but also AI and cloud? I know especially in Germany, in Europe, there is some reluctance to go to the cloud completely. I mean, I think there is a good mixture there, but what's DSAG's point of view of this balance basically?
Well, I think every customer has their own challenges. And you mentioned the stability. There's also flexibility. There are new technological challenges you have regarding AI. So every customer and every member has to look at all these challenges and try to balance them good for their own roadmaps. So we at the DSAG, we are trying to get the information out. Like when I look at my fellow board members, we got a lot of information from SAP, from the partners. We are in a closed loop of getting a pre-information, but the average member doesn't get this information. So I'm questioning myself, how should an average DSAG member be able to take the right decisions for their own roadmap? So I think that's one of the big points, and I think that's one of the reasons why our annual Congress is so successful, because we are trying to get these informations to our members, so the members can make informed decisions about their own roadmap. And I think that's one of the major points, and there are a lot of different possible ways our members can go. Like they can go on a public cloud journey, so they can evaluate the solution for public cloud, and then they can decide that's the right way for my own company. But maybe they're saying, well, no, public cloud's not the right way for my company, but I want to, or I have to go onto a cloud solution, so I choose a path towards private cloud. And there might even be customers who say, well, I'm not able to go to a cloud anyway with my ERP system, so I might stay on premise for the time being. And I don't think it's a discussion. I personally had the discussion with SAP. Well, DSAG has to take a point on are you for cloud or are you against cloud? I don't think that's a valid discussion we have to take. We have to take the discussion, is it the right way? And I think every company in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland are using at some point cloud technology.
Yeah.
Maybe it's Microsoft, maybe it's in the HR, it's success factors, or maybe you use the cloud integration, or maybe you have a small part on SAP BTP. So every customer is using cloud technology. So that's not the decision. So the decision we are discussing broadly is which way to go with my ERP system. And here I think DSAG can really create value to our members by making transparent what's the right way, what are the consequences on going this way, that way, or stay where you are. And I think that's the right thing to do, but it's also challenging for us.
And I think the first keynote from Evonik really also reflected that in a great way. Because I think the DSAG Congress really provides you with the different options. Like as you said, some customers are already fully adopted with public cloud. Others are fully convinced that RISE is the way to go. I mean, we saw in the keynote from Thomas Saueressig, where he had Pandora, I think, on stage, and they were talking about their RISE journey, that they've now implemented RISE. And then there are also customers that are, at least for now, on-prem. And I think that for me, it was interesting really to hear from Evonik, which basically said, look, our goal is public cloud. And that's where we want to be. So it's fully aligned with SAP's strategy. But for the moment, and I think they outlined this pretty well. They were saying, look, we are actually happy with on-premise. Why would we do the detour to RISE? And I think in this specific case, they had some very good arguments. And again, coming back to your point, for me as a customer, that is probably before having the same decisions to make. It's great to hear, to get this information from DSAG, from the customers, what works well for one customer, what doesn't work well for another customer.
And let's take 2 points out of that. Evonik did real discussions on what's their way to go. And you might know Christian Braubmüller, who is at Evonik, and he's also one of our SIG leads inside DSAG. And I followed the discussion, and he was always doing inside DSAG. And I know that he got really good information out of his collaboration inside DSAG to making an informed decision in his own company with his peers there, so they could bring it on stage. And the other discussions we had around public cloud. So I got the impression in the last weeks or months, there was a driving force at SAP in regard of going for the strategic goal public cloud only. And I was very happy that I had Thomas Saueressig on stage, and we could clarify that private edition, it's not RISE, it's now SAP Cloud ERP private.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
I have to think about it before I speak about it to get it right. Is a strategic way. Is another strategic way for SAP. So all customers and all of our members are able to choose one of these passes, because I've heard from some of our members, well, we don't do anything right now because if we have to go on public, then why should I go to RISE now? And then later on go to public. So I wait until public is available for my industry, for the scope of my processes I have at my company, because it's not fully there for all companies. So I was very, very happy with this statement from Thomas that private edition is really here also to stay, and it's a valid decision to go on to private. So all our members can now make a uniformed, an informed decision.
Yeah, and this is great because you, as a DSAG, has such a big influence directly on the board, right? So, and they are listening, and that brings actually a big value to communicate the customer needs to the SAP board. And this is really a big thing.
We're trying hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, you consolidate instead of each and every customer individually asking SAP. You have the power to consolidate this feedback and then speak as one or maybe also two voices sometimes towards the board, and you can at least bring up these topics. I think a lot of, especially if I look at smaller companies, they don't have the possibility to talk to Thomas Sauer-Essig or to Christian Klein. For you, the situation is very different. So if you hear from 10, 50, 100 smaller customers that there is an issue with XYZ, then you can take it up and you can bring it forward with Christian. And for me, that's really one of the huge advantages that DSAG brings for customers here.
And that's the view of SAP as well. So if I talk to Christian Klein or Thomas Sauer-Essig, they value our feedback and they are asking for our feedback because we consolidate, as you've said, the feedback of all the small and mid-sized companies. Like if you're talking about BMW, Mercedes-Benz, or Nestle or whatever, they have the direct input to the SAP board. We are able to take like the small and medium businesses feedback and then raise it at SAP. Yeah.
Perfect. So in the discussion of cloud, there's always, or very often, the discussion about cloud is also coupled with artificial intelligence, with AI. Joule is one big story for SAP. Joule is available for public cloud, or for the cloud customers there. What's your point of view right now with on AI? What do you see with your customers? What is still missing? Why is not everyone already using AI in the SAP context? What's your view on AI with SAP?
Well, first, I think the basic strategy SAP has for under the name of SAP Business AI and embedding AI into the processes, I think that's the right approach. I don't think that SAP could make their own AI infrastructure. So they go and try to orchestrate the available technology and then embed it into the processes. So I think that's the right approach. The thing we see in the market is that there are a lot of companies who are doing like some proof of concepts. They're trying something out, so I've written, I've read an article on LinkedIn the other day. There was somebody telling we should stop solving 50-cent problems with large language models, I think the guy's right. So we have to make use of AI. I think there's a huge potential for AI. I think we are not even able to grasp the possibilities which will be there. But at the end, it costs money. And that's what I had on my keynote. So the value you have out of AI that has to be seen. And I talked inside my company the other day, and I said, well, it's not the right approach to go and say, oh, well, we have to do something with AI. So now let's search for a problem we can solve with AI. So the better way around is, well, we have this problem and we have to solve this problem, and AI might be a tool or tool set which we can use to solve the problem. And I think that's happening right now. A lot of people are getting more down to earth, as we say in Germany. You know about the possibilities. You know what you can do with AI right now, but you really have to see how it works. Regarding Joule, also here, we know that there are some challenges SAP has to solve to get Joule across the board, across all the solutions working and getting good results. I think it's a right approach to have a co-pilot. So Joule basically is a co-pilot. It's an orchestrator, maybe of the agentic AI agents in the background. And then you can tap into like large language models on the one side. You can go onto S4 systems. You can go on success factors. You even can combine it with Microsoft Copilot to get the office world and the data there. So I think that's the right approach to get everything together. But I think it's a long way to go until it really works and it really has successful results.
Great. And actually, one thing that comes to mind for me immediately is with DSAG, and I think you even mentioned that also in the keynote. You kicked off several AI-related trainings, related sessions. I know with SAP, with Microsoft, I think also with a few other vendors out there in the market. But that is for me also a great example of DSAG supporting their members in what can they do actually? What can I do with AI? Where's the value in AI? We had a few work streams then kicked off with DSAG to really evaluate what are some concrete use cases that customers could leverage in the context, in our case, obviously now with SAP, with Microsoft, with AI. How could this bring value to the users? So this is for me one example of where DSAG really supports its members to get something out of the investments that in a lot of cases they already have. If you look at other areas, where do you think is DSAG supporting its members in getting more out of it?
Well, it's a good point about AI. In the year when ChatGPT started, it was all about information. So we set up a webinar in collaboration with Microsoft and about ChatGPT. It was one of the best ever booked webinars we had because everybody wanted to know how it's working, how can I make use of it. So it's about information. It's about the transfer of information to our members. And here we are doing a good job on the AI perspective. And the other thing we founded, I don't know exactly which year, I think it was 2018, 2019, we founded our DSAG Academy. So there you can book trainings for your employees and even for yourself. So I decided to take a training like 2 or 3 weeks from now on prompting. I try with all the AI tools, Perplexity, Copilot, ChatGPT, and so or Gemini, and you just input something, and then you get a result from it, and okay, and you look at it. But the key of using AI really productively is about prompting. So we have a seminar in our academy about prompting. So I will attend the seminar and get some insights personally out of it. So that's one of the things we saw some years back. So we founded the academy, and we are even collaborating with Microsoft there to have some trainings from Microsoft also in the academy, but there are also a lot of SAP trainings in there.
One question from me. In the SAP space, typically there are application layer and the technology space, right? I'm more in the technology part, although of course AI for the application absolutely makes sense, inside the app. Did you already hear in both for application and technology use cases which are maybe identified and maybe already in a prototype by some customers, which are making sense, right, in the AI space?
Well, I think there are a lot of use cases around. The question is it about everybody talks about generative AI, or is it just AI? Like we are doing AI or artificial intelligence like 30, 40 years back. It's nothing exactly new. So there are, like, if you look at document extraction, there are really good use cases for doing document extraction and validating documents and inputting the data from the documents into an SAP system and to start a process. Yesterday I heard a use case. There was some company, there's a salespeople could just take a picture of a product, and the AI solution was looking either for the exact product or maybe if it wasn't a product from the company, like a comparable product. So these are use cases which are there, and their SAP strategy on the Gen AI hub and all these things to combine different functionalities comes into play, because there you can decide for this use case I might use OpenAI, and for the other use case I might use the document extraction service on the BTP, and you can just put it together. So yes, there are some use cases out there I've heard from, but it's not like these huge big events where you can say, well, this is going to solve all the problems the company.
Right.
It's a tiny things as they come into play, and they might be generative AI a game changer at some points, and at other points it's not generative AI. It's just like process automation.
Right. Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it takes time. This is a hype on one hand, but it's taking the roots slowly and fast, and not slowly, more and more fast, yeah, and showing the value. But it's still, I think, after this hype, it comes depression, and then comes really the value. Yeah,
that's the hype cycle.
Yeah, that's the hype.
Yeah, and I've seen another article on LinkedIn about US companies where they ask about the use of AI, and this hype cycle is going down right now. Because, a lot of companies are making less use of AI because now they're really evaluating the use cases, and then they're trying to get the real stuff done.
What's the value exactly? Yeah. So Jens, to also come to a close almost. Obviously, we are the SAP on Azure podcast here, so it's all about SAP and Microsoft. From your perspective, also from a DSAG perspective, what do you see when you look at SAP and Microsoft in our collaboration?
Well, first of all, I would like to thank Microsoft, because I started a close collaboration from DSAG and Microsoft back in 2019. That was when I was elected to the board as a treasurer, and we started to say, well, let's talk with the hyperscalers. And so thank you here to Microsoft. So today you both are here. There are some other people in the background who are collaborating with us, and it's really good to to collaborate there and to exchange information and different views. I think Microsoft is one of the huge players in the SAP context, at least in Germany, Austria, and Switzerland. That's what I'm hearing. Even if you're going on RISE deals and stuff like that, I really like the collaboration about Joule and Microsoft Copilot. I think it was announced last year at Sapphire that you're starting to build things together. We have it from the technology perspective. We had it at the, I think it's the technology days, DSAG technology days in Hamburg at least, and maybe this year in Wiesbaden as well, about Entra ID, like the IBM Entra and things like that. So here we have to see how this collaboration is going to evolve, because there are things, and yeah. If you're the German-speaking SAP user group, I always have the challenges on not overstepping red lines. I can say that. So there's a lot of work together between SAP and Microsoft. I know that, but there are parts where you are both on the market with your own products. So that's a challenge for us as DSAG. Up to which point we allow these discussions. My point there is the discussions are always happening in the market. So let's have it inside DSAG so we at least know what the discussion is. And yeah, but that's sometimes a little bit challenging.
So, and I fully appreciate it.
I mean,
I mean, you are the SAP group, obviously. So the focus has to be SAP, and I fully support that. I mean, in my role, I'm trying to see how SAP plus Microsoft can work together. And there are some great examples, like the Joule and Copilot integration, where it works extremely well. There are other areas where where there are different point of views. Let's put it like this. But I really enjoy the opportunity to collaborate. I mean, also that we have our own track shows that we have enough customers that are really interested in SAP and Microsoft, and we have some good discussions in there as well. So I think overall.
But I really like your role, Holger, because that's what I'm seeing is you're trying to build bridges between all the three organizations, so SAP, Microsoft, and also DSAG, and that really resonates well. You're a well-liked guy. You're doing great presentations, by the way. I can tell everybody, if you have the chance to see Holger doing a presentation, how things are working, just go for it. It's always fun.
Fully agree. Absolutely.
Thank you. So Jens, just to close this off, let me first say the keynotes, they are all on YouTube, which I also think is fantastic. So DSAG is really opening up. So you can see your keynote, Thomas Sauer-Essig's keynote, the customer keynotes, they are all available on YouTube. I also checked if you are a DSAG member. If not, and you're German speaking, you should definitely subscribe there and become a DSAG member, because all the slides are now also available in the DSAG net. So all the sessions, if you, I mean, I couldn't attend all the sessions, but now everything is available in the DSAG net. You can check the slides there. So this is also really powerful. I'll put the links in the show notes as well. Again, on YouTube, anyone can watch it, but for DSAG, you have to be a DSAG member to access the slides. But with this, from my point of view, Jens, well, no, maybe you have some final thoughts, final things that you want to share.
No, I think we've covered a lot today. It was really great being on your show. So thanks for having me. And maybe we can do a joint event with Geoff Scott from ASAC. Because
I like that.
Because we always, not always, we have some different perspectives. So to do it together, that might be a nice evolution of our single podcasts.
That's a great idea. I'll ping him and ask him I'll share him this video, and then I'll tell him, look, watch it and answer the last question. No, I like that. Perfect. Great. Jens, it was great to have you. Thank you so much for all your insights. Again, congratulations for this very successful annual Congress. I'm really looking forward to the next ones. And yeah, again, hopefully we'll see you either alone or with Geoff in our podcast again soon.
Every time. Was a
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Thank you so
Holger.
much.
Thanks, Goran.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.